I will count it all joy when I'm tried and torn. Through your word a new hope is born. No sorrow can steal my song away. I will count it all joy each day. Every breath, every step I take, your promises will never break. Through it all my YaHuAH will sing all esteem to YaHuAH, my King. You turn the shadows into light. You
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom to friends and family. Shalom to everybody. Shalom to everybody. Shalom to everybody that has the opportunity to listen to us today on the Righteousness Radio or anywhere you can listen to us today. How are you doing, family? I hope you are all doing fine. Hope you are all doing fine. If you are doing fine, give all praise to the Most High YaHuAH. Give all praise to Him. Because you have to give praise to Him because He is your Father. He is my Father. He is the Father. No, He is the Father of the fatherless. That is the word the book of Him says. He is the Father for the fatherless. Yes, He is the Father for the fatherless. I'm telling you, He is the Father for the fatherless. How are you doing, family? Hope you are all doing fine. Hope you are all doing fine.
Be my strength when I am weak. My being is torn. My bones are weak. Oh, YaHuAH, I need you. For they that wait upon YaHuAH shall renew their strength. When all forsaken shadows bend, hold me close till the end. Tears have been my breath. I'm a stranger, I said. Your word I believe. I'm sitting alone in silence deep. Still I praise you, my being you keep. I've placed you before me, though others forsake me. A brand new start. Tonight, YaHuAH, my love of you, God. It's true, I shall not be moved. You're a sufficient, your power made perfect in my pain. He who endures to the end shall be saved. I rise and I walk, He won't let me fall. My all in all, YaHuAH, you.
How are you doing, family? How are you doing? Hope you are all doing fine. Hope everyone is doing fine. If you are doing fine, give all praise to the Most High YaHuAH. Give all praise to Him if you are doing fine. Hope everybody is doing fine. Hope everybody is doing fine. Because I'm so happy to have everyone here today on the Righteousness Radio. And we are very sorry that we are not consistent on the Righteousness. We are just facing some little issue with network and with some things. But we know YaHuAH will fix everything. We know YaHuAH will fix everything. How are you doing? How are you doing? Hope you are doing fine. Hope you are all doing fine. Have you started calling people? Something is about to happen again on the Righteousness Radio. Something is about to happen again on the Righteousness Radio. Have you started calling people? Have you started calling people?
My song, in you I am stronger than any bird. My YaHuSHA's blood, YaHuAH.
You have to start calling people. You have to let everyone to know that something is about to happen again.
Devices will come against me. Oh yes, I am free. No time.
Something is about to happen again. That is why we are here today.
When I am uncertain, to Torah I'll turn.
This is one of the biggest messages that we want to share to people. And we don't know why. For a while now, this message don't want to come out. And that is why we are here today with the message that says what? Waking up to the truth. Waking up to the truth. This is part 5 and part 6 from Truth and Edited. This is a very powerful message. This is a very powerful message that you and I have to understand. We have to know about. This is a message that we have to know about. Something we have to know about. And that is why I'm not going to take our time. But before we go to today's message, I want you to understand something. The message we are sharing is a very special message. It's something that will bring to you. Maybe you can't have it, you can't listen to it. That's why we bring it to you directly on the Righteousness Radio. And we want to know something. That we are not making mistake for sharing this with you. But we are trying to let you to know that what all message from YaHuAH is important. And this is the right time that we don't have to ignore anything. This is the right time that we have to wake up. This is the right time we have to wake up. And that is why you don't have to listen to this program alone. You have to call people, share to people, and let everyone to know that something is going on the Righteousness Radio. You have to share to people, call people. You have to share it. You have to share it. You have to share. You have to share it to everybody. You have to share it with everybody. Because this message is not just ordinary message that you can just listen to and just swipe away. No, this is not the message that you just listen and just swipe away. This is a message that you listen to and make use of. This is a message that you listen to and what are you make use of? You make use of it. You make use of it. Yes. You make use of it. And today what we are sharing this program to everybody. I want you to share to people. I want you to share and to call everybody. I want you to call everybody. Yes, to call everybody.
Na, 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 na. Yeah. Mama Sarah,
And our Messiah said that in the last days, it will be as the days of Noah. So it's important that we deal with. In the last part of this series, part 4, we dealt with the first major judgment that our Father brought upon this earth. This was during the days of Noah. And our Messiah said that in the last days, it will be as the days of Noah. So it's important that we deal with that understanding. Because as it was shown, most people are not ready, and they take this time of grace for granted. But there will be a time that comes when people will be begging for Yah's protection, and He will not hear them. And so it's important that you live in reality today. So let me just say a few words about this series. The goal of this series is to be an educational course on the truth of this world. There are churches on every corner, but even as these end times approach, the majority of this world live in complete lies, and they just know religion. I am making this so that if someone truly desires to understand what is wrong with this world and understand what religion is keeping from you, and you want to preserve your mind for our Father and His kingdom, I want there to be a comprehensive resource that all who desire the truth can come to. So if you're just coming to these videos, please don't jump around because you will miss important points. If you go through this series video by video, it should help wake you up.
Everyone is different and programmed.
As we've been going through this, consider this like the peeling of an onion. The world has tried to keep us trapped in the matrix and living through lies. And this series is peeling back through the layers to help you live in truth. Everyone is different and programmed by different agendas. So it's not possible to say just one thing and just wake everyone up. But if you're taken through the progression of truth, you will be awakened. And this is what this series is for. And this subject we are about to get into is a major part of this understanding. In order to truly understand what is going on in this world, you must understand the beginning of rebellion in this world. You need to understand the beginning of religion. And so therefore, we must discuss the birth of paganism. In order to discuss paganism, you need to be introduced to an important biblical character that is not truly taught to you, but he is extremely important to understand.
Let's begin.
So in order that you understand this world, you must understand the beginning of the sun god and who the world truly worships. You must understand the beginning of rebellion. Therefore, you must understand Nimrod, the king of Babylon. Let's begin. To begin to understand this, we need to go back to where we ended in part 4. Noah and his sons and their wives came off the ark, and our father told them to repopulate the earth. Now, I will be going into this deeper because all these children matter, and where they scatter to, it matters. But understanding that comes after this topic. Now, when we understand the children of the sons of Noah, the book of YaHuSHA also explains these children. So we will go to the book of YaHuSHA to understand this. So follow this. The sons of Noah came off the ark, and they did as they were commanded, and they had children. YaHuSHA chapter 7 writes, and please forgive me on these pronunciations. And these are the names of the son of Noah, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And children were born to them after the flood, for they had taken women before the flood. These are the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras, 7 sons. And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Magog were Elkanah and Labal. And the children of Madai were Achan, Zelo, Shazani, and Lot. Please note that's not Abraham's nephew Lot, FYI. And the sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Katim, and Dodanim. And the sons of Tubal were Arifi, Kasid, and Tari. And the sons of Meshech were Dedan, Zarin, and Shabashni. And the sons of Tiras were Benib, Gera, Lepirion, and Gilak. These are the sons of Japheth according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 460 men. And these are the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan, 4 sons. And the sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Rama, and Sateka. And the sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Mizraim were Lud, Anam, and Pathros, Chasloth, and Chaphtor. And the sons of Put were Gabal, Hayden, Benah, and Adan. And the sons of Canaan were Zidon, Heth, Amori, Gagashi, Hivi, Arki, Seni, Arodi, Zemodi, and Shamathi. These are the sons of Ham, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 730 men. And these are the sons of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram, 5 sons. And the sons of Elam were Shushan, Makul, and Harman. And the sons of Asher were Myris and Mokil. And the sons of Arpachshad were Shalak, Anar, and Ashkul. And the sons of Lud were Pethor and Bizian. And the sons of Aram were Uz, Chul, Gar, and Mash. These are the sons of Shem, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 300 men. These are the generations of Shem. Shem begot Arpachshad, and Arpachshad begot Shalak, and Shalak begot Eber, and to Eber were born 2 children. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the sons of men were divided. In the latter days, the earth was divided. And the name of the second was Yoktan, meaning that in his day the lives of the sons of men were diminished and lessened. These are the sons of Yoktan: Almadad, Shalath, Chazmaroth, Yarach, Hadoram, Ozel, Dikla, Obal, Abimel, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these are the sons of Yoktan. And Peleg his brother begat Yen, and Yen begat Serug, and Serug begat Nachor, and Nachor begat Tarak, and Tarak was 38 years old, and he begat Haran and Nachor. YaHuSHA chapter 7, verses 1 through 22. Okay, and I know that's a lot, and maybe when you're reading, you can think that it's all inconsequential and doesn't matter, but it all does matter. And after we get through all this that we're about to discuss with Nimrod, I will go back to this because it can help you understand the world that you live in today, because these people later scattered after the Tower of Babel. But if you have this basis of understanding, this is what the beginning looked like after the flood. This is the children that populated the earth. And so after the flood, Noah's sons, they populated this earth with all these children. These are the sons, and they just continue to grow from this. Now, what we're going to do is focus on the line of Ham, because that leads us to Nimrod. We'll continue reading YaHuSHA chapter 7. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a woman in those days in his old age, and she bore a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying, at that time the sons of men again began to rebel and transgress against Elohim. And the child grew up, and his father loved him exceedingly, for he was the son of his old age. And the garments of skin which Elohim made for Adam and his woman when they went out of the garden, they were given to Cush, for after the death of Adam and his woman, the garments were given to Enoch, the son of Yared. And when Enoch was taken up to Elohim, he gave them to Methuselah, his son. And at the death of Methuselah, Noah took them and brought them into the ark, and they were with him until he went out of the ark. And in their going out, Ham stole those garments from Noah his father, and he took them and hid them from his brothers. And when Ham begot his firstborn Cush, he gave him the garments in secret, and they were with Cush many days. And Cush also concealed them from his sons and brothers. And when Cush had begotten Nimrod, he gave them those garments through his love for him. And Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on those garments. And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments. And Elohim gave him might and strength. And he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yeah, he was a mighty hunter in the field. And he hunted the animals, and he built altars. And he offered upon them the animals before YaHuAH. And Nimrod strengthened himself. And he rose up from amongst his brethren. And he fought the battles of his brethren against all the enemies round about. And YaHuAH delivered all the enemies of his brethren in his hands. And Elohim prospered him from time to time in his battles, and he reigned upon the earth. Therefore it became current in those days, when a man ushered forth those that he had trained up for battle, he would say to them, like Elohim did to Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter in the earth, and who succeeded in the battles that prevailed against his brethren, that he delivered them from the hands of their enemies. So may Elohim strengthen us and deliver us this day. And when Nimrod was 40 years old, at that time there was a war between his brethren and the children of Japheth, so that they were in the power of their enemies. And Nimrod went forth at that time, and he assembled all the sons of Cush and their families, about 460 men. And he hired also some of his friends and acquaintances, about 80 men, and he gave them their hire. And he went with them to battle. And when he was on the road, Nimrod strengthened the hearts of the people that went with him. And he said to them, do not fear, neither be alarmed, for all our enemies will be delivered into our hands, and you may do with them as you please. And all the men that went were about 500, and they fought against their enemies, and they destroyed them and subdued them. And Nimrod placed standing officers over them in their respective places. And he took some of their children as security, and they all were servants to Nimrod and to his brethren. And Nimrod and all the people that were with him turned homeward. And when Nimrod had joyfully returned from battle, after having conquered his enemies, all his brethren, together with those who knew him before, assembled to make him king over them. And they placed a regal crown upon his head. And he set over his subjects and peoples, princes, judges, and rulers, as is the custom amongst kings. And he placed Tarak, the son of Nachor, the prince of his host. And he dignified him and elevated him above all his princes. And while he was reigning, according to his heart's desire, after having conquered all his enemies around, he advised with his counselors to build a city for his palace, and they did so. And they found a large valley opposite to the east, and they built him a large and extensive city. And Nimrod called the name of that city that he built Shinar, for YaHuAH had vehemently shaken his enemies and destroyed them. And Nimrod dwelt in Shinar, and he reigned securely, and he fought with his enemies, and he subdued them. And he prospered in all his battles, and his kingdom became very great. And all nations and tongues heard of his fame, and they gathered themselves to him, and they bowed down to the earth, and they brought him offerings, and he became their Adonai and king. And they all dwelt with him in the city at Shinar. And Nimrod reigned in the earth over all the sons of Noah, and they were all under his power and counsel. And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. But Nimrod did not go in the ways of YaHuAH, and he was more wicked than all the men that was before him from the days of the flood until those days. And he made Elohim of wood and stone and bowed down to them. And he rebelled against YaHuAH and taught all his subjects and the people of the earth his wicked ways. And Mardon his son was more wicked than his father. That's YaHuSHA chapter 7 verses 23 through 47. All right. So this is the introduction to Nimrod. There is not much written in the book of Genesis about Nimrod except it concurring with what we just read in YaHuSHA. He writes, Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before YaHuAH. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before YaHuAH. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Genesis chapter 10 verses 8 through 10. For reference, when they write the land of Shinar, they are referring to the land of Mesopotamia. Now, if we rely on these maps that they give us, they say this is the modern day land of Iraq, just for a reference point. This is where it was. But this is the introduction to Nimrod, and Nimrod is extremely important when it comes to understanding paganism in this world. He is worshipped by this world to this day, and he must be understood first. According to Albert Mackey's Masonic Dictionary, in reference to Nimrod, he writes, the legend of the craft in the old constitutions referred to Nimrod as one of the founders of Freemasonry. Thus, in the York Manuscript No. 1, we read, at you making of your Tower of Babel, there was masonry, first much esteemed of, and the king of Babylon was called Nimrod, was a mason himself, and loved well masons. And the Cook Manuscript thus repeats the story. In this same Nimrod began the Tower of Babel, and he taught to workmen the craft of masonry. And he had with them many masons, more than 40,000, and he loved and cherished them well. The idea no doubt sprang out of the scriptural teaching that Nimrod was the architect of many cities, a statement not so well expressed in the authorized version as it is in the improved one of Bokart, which says, from that land Nimrod went forth to Asher and built Nineveh and Rehoboth city and Calah and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, that is the great city. That's what's written. Please understand that Nimrod is the founder of Freemasonry, and it is him who the world has been worshiping since the beginning after the flood. He had the garments of Adam that YaHuAH made Adam, and apparently it gave some sort of power. And over time, he built a kingdom, and in time, he grew in great power. Nimrod is the beginning of the story of paganism, and everything in this world that you know today in regards to religion is about leading the world towards Nimrod's reappearance. You see, as YaHuSHA explains at some point, Nimrod rebelled against YaHuAH, and he turned against YaHuAH, and being directed by Satan, Nimrod establishes the first world order. There are many different things written about Nimrod by various religions. What needs to be understood is that after the flood, Nimrod grew in wickedness and rebellion. Nimrod is the father of magic and witchcraft. He is the father of rebellion. He is linked to sorcery, magic, and rebellion in various traditions and legends. In many non-biblical sources, he is referred to as a powerful sorcerer or the inventor of magical arts, a master warlock who sold his soul for power, and a figure who used spells and incantations. In the writings, Recognition of Clements, these are works that date back to the early Christian church fathers. Now, it's not written by Clement of Rome, but a pseudo-Clement. When we read what is written in Book 4, chapter 29, it says, first among whom is named a certain king, Nimrod, the magic art having been handed down to him as by a flash, whom the Greeks also call Ninus, and from whom the city of Nineveh took its name. Thus, therefore, diverse and erratic superstitions took their beginning from their magic art. If you look in history, Nimrod is known by different names. Like it says Ninus here. You'll also know him as Gilgamesh. The different cultures refer to him directly in different names. But in very simple terms, Nimrod is the father of rebellion. This name Nimrod is said to most likely come from the Semitic root mered, which means to rebel. Nimrod likely means one who rebels. And it is his spirit that the rebellious men and women of this world have taken hold of. Nimrod was claimed to be a very wicked man. As YaHuSHA chapter 11 writes, and notwithstanding this, Nimrod did not return to YaHuAH, and he continued in wickedness and teaching wickedness to the sons of men. And Mardon, his son, was worse than his father and continued to add to the abominations of his father. And he caused the sons of men to sin. Therefore it is said, from the wicked goes forth wickedness. YaHuSHA chapter 11 verses 7 through 8. Just one note that this son Mardon did die before Nimrod. Here's what you must understand about Nimrod. In many occult and esoteric belief systems, Nimrod is interpreted as a revolutionary hero who rebelled against an oppressive god. He wasn't a villain, but looked at as a hero. Nimrod serves as a symbol of defiance and rebellion. The occult narratives portray Nimrod as a cunning figure who sought knowledge and power for humanity, challenging divine authority in the process. Many occultists claim that Nimrod established fire worship, idolatry, and received instruction in divination from dark sources. Nimrod was the first after the flood to start the rebellion that Satan has been trying to do ever since, which is to go up to heaven and challenge YaHuAH, which is why Christians all feel like they're going to go to heaven, even though there's no promise from our Father to go to heaven. Everyone keeps trying to go up to heaven. This is Satan's goal, and we see the beginning of it with this man of rebellion, Nimrod. And it is the spirit of Nimrod that has spread throughout this world. The spirit of Nimrod is at the heart of the New World Order. It is about rebellion against YaHuAH. And if you're going to wake up, you must place this figure of Nimrod in your understanding. Now it gets deep because as religion forms around him, he begins to be blended into different cultures, and I will discuss this soon. But because in Freemasonry, Nimrod is known as the founder of Freemasonry, it is obviously his spirit that permeates the earth. It is a spirit of rebellion, and that's what he founded. I caution you on how far you dig deep into it because it can lead you to a very dark side, a very satanic side. Just understand that Nimrod represents rebellion, and it is his spirit that is strong in this world today, which is guiding it. And so as you review religion and the many different influences, you will always see something that traces back to Nimrod. But because religion, particularly Christianity, they don't teach you about this rebellious figure and how the world is attached to him, of course you would not recognize it on your own. Please know and understand that this is by choice. You are not taught about Nimrod in full because most of the people in religion are in fact people who embody the spirit of Nimrod, and they are in alignment with his rebellion. And if you want to wake up, you must understand that point. Remember John's warning in his first epistle, chapter 4, verse 1. He says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets have gone out into the world." 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. You see, this is a pure spirit of rebellion, and it must be tested. And make sure you are not influenced by it or connected to it in any way. Simply put, after the flood, there was a king that emerged that learned witchcraft and sorcery and united the different people of this world to rebel against YaHuAH. This king was called Nimrod, and he is the father of paganism. So before we go any deeper, we will discuss the actual rebellion, so that's what we're going to do next. So in the next part, we're going to discuss the Tower of Babel and Nimrod's rebellion against YaHuAH. So please, go to part 6 of this playlist and continue to grow in knowledge and in truth. Live your life in the truth and stay out of the lies, because the kingdom of YaHuAH is truly at hand. Be ready for it and be blessed. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Okay, thanks again for watching. If this has blessed you, please make sure to like it and share it with others. In part 5 of this series, we started getting deep. We went into introducing one of the main figures of rebellion in the history of our world. But ironically, though many know of this figure, they don't truly know of this figure. This man is Nimrod, and he is the father of the rebellion against YaHuAH. And it is his spirit that is alive and strong in this world today that is leading the world towards this spiritual cataclysm. Nimrod cannot be ignored because it is what he did at Babel that Satan has been conspiring to bring back on this earth again. In part 5, it was important that I explain who he was, and I wanted the introduction to be clear so that when I explained this part, it did not truly take away from the significance of him. I am against Nimrod and his spirit of rebellion. It is his rebellion that is against those who love YaHuAH. And because the devil is not going to train you on this, because that will be just him exposing himself, you can understand why there are churches on every corner of this country and spread all around the world, but collectively, the Christian church knows very little about Nimrod, but yet they practice many traditions that stem from him. Nimrod is the father of rebellion, and in order to understand this, we must discuss what happened at the Tower of Babel. So as we continue to wake up to what is going on in this world, we must discuss Nimrod and the Tower of Babel. Let's begin. So as I discussed in part 5, Nimrod reigned securely in the land of Shinar, which is the land of Mesopotamia. This is the first Babylon. Later, there is the empire of Babylon ruled by Nebuchadnezzar. This is not the Babylon that's being spoken about right now, but it comes from the same land and it's the same spirit, but just don't get confused with them both. This is the first Babylon. It was based in the land of Mesopotamia and ruled by the Sumerians, and Nimrod was king. They built a large tower that we know today as the Tower of Babel. They built it to challenge YaHuAH and prove their greatness. This was an empire that was in pure rebellion against YaHuAH. They came together speaking one language from which they were able to conspire against our Creator. Again, they were under the rule of Nimrod, who was the leader of this world government. At this time, after the flood, they were the inhabitants of the world, and they came together in order to challenge the dominion of our Creator. Please remember that before this, YaHuAH just judged humanity, and they were starting over. Because of Nimrod and his rebellion, they were in union to come against YaHuAH and to challenge him. They wanted to ascend into heaven and defeat YaHuAH. They all spoke in one language and decided, rather than move away from each other, under Nimrod's leadership, they would come together so they could build a kingdom for their own dominion to challenge YaHuAH. This is rebellion. To understand this, we will go back to the book of YaHuSHA. We'll go to YaHuSHA chapter 9. It says, "And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control. And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together. They said to each other, 'Come, let us build ourselves a city, and in it a strong tower, and in its top reaching heaven. And we will make ourselves famed, so that we may reign upon the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars.' And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words. And the king agreed with them in this affair, and he did so. And all the families assembled, consisting of about 600,000 men. And they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city and the tower. And they sought in the whole earth, and they found none like one valley at the east of the land of Shinar, about 2 days' walk. And they journeyed there, and they dwelt there. And they began to make bricks and burn fires to build the city and the tower that they had imagined to complete. And the building of the tower was unto them a transgression and a sin, and they began to build it. And whilst they were building against YaHuAH Elohim of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to ascend into heaven. And all these people and all the families divided themselves in 3 parts. The first said, 'We will ascend into heaven and fight against him.' The second said, 'We will ascend to heaven and place our own gods there and serve them.' And the third part said, 'We will ascend to heaven and smite him with bows and spears.' And Elohim knew all their works and all their evil thoughts, and he saw the city and the tower which they were building. And when they were building, they built themselves a great city and a very high and strong tower. And on account of its height, the mortar and bricks did not reach the builders in their ascent to it, until those who went up had completed a full year. And after that, they reached to the builders and gave them the mortar and the bricks. Thus it was done daily. And behold, these ascended and others descended the whole day. And if a brick should fall from the hands and get broken, they would all weep over it. And if a man fell and died, none of them would even look at him. And YaHuAH knew their thoughts. And it came to pass when they were building, they cast the arrows towards the heavens, and all the arrows fell upon them, filled with blood. And when they saw them, they said to each other, surely we have slain all those that are in heaven. For this was from YaHuAH in order to cause them and in order to destroy them off the face of the ground. And they built the tower and the city, and they did this thing daily until many days and years were elapsed. And Elohim said to the 70 angels who stood foremost before him, to those who were near to him, saying, come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did so unto him. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builder took from the hands of his neighbor lime or stone, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. And those who were left amongst them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming upon them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered upon the face of the whole earth. And they ceased building the city and the tower. Therefore he called that place Babel, for there YaHuAH confounded the language of the whole earth. Behold, it was at the east of the land of Shinar. And this is the story of Nimrod's rebellion. He gathered his kingdom together to conspire against YaHuAH in order that they tried to mount up, and this is the real rebellion. And this is what Nimrod put forth and tried to promote. He promoted the world to come together and to try to beat the Most High. And so even though his plan was dumb and it failed, Satan, he never left that desire alone. His goal is to get the whole world on the same plan to fight against our Father. Everything about this current world today is about fulfillment of this goal at Babylon. And so the occult uses what happened at the Tower of Babel as the beginning of the journey towards their ultimate goal. And so you should never let anyone tell you that they don't believe in the Bible and they are against the Bible, because everything that they're doing in this world today is all about this beginning goal, exactly what happened at the Tower of Babel. They are right now fighting against the God of the Bible, which is why they don't want you to believe in him, because they want you on their side. They want you on the side of Nimrod. In Freemasonry, the Tower of Babel serves as a starting point for a Mason's journey, representing a state of ignorance and a loss of the true language of the building, which is later recovered through wisdom found in the Temple of Solomon. The tower is seen as a symbol of human pride and unchecked ambition, a challenge to divine authority. In his book, The Arcane Schools, a review of their origin and antiquity with a general history of Freemasonry and its relation to theosophic, scientific, and philosophic mysteries, long title. Anyways, the Masonic author of this book, John Yarker, writes on page 267, the Tower of Babel was one of the most ancient traditions of Masonry. In Arthur Edward Waite's book, A New Encyclopedia of Freemasonry and a Cognate Instituted Mysteries, Their Rites, Literature, and History, on page 61, he brags, as regards Masonry, Babel, of course, represented a Masonic enterprise. Understand that what you see at the Tower of Babel is what represents a Masonic enterprise or undertaking. It is all rebellion against YaHuAH. So all that this religion of Freemasonry is, and those that are tied to it, they have just promoted the goal at the Tower of Babel. This is what they're doing. And so in this world today, you have the goal of these Masons to build this new world order as they carry on the spirit of Nimrod. They push the symbolism to show us directly who it is that they're worshiping. As I explained in part 1 about understanding the new world order, Freemasonry is inverted worship, and they serve the God of this world, which you will soon see has presented himself through the undertaking of Nimrod. And so their goal is to personally challenge our Father YaHuAH. And so as they claim that their goal, according to Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma, they say their goal is the ultimate defeat and extinction of evil. Being that they believe our Father YaHuAH is what is evil, it is YaHuAH who they are challenging and trying to defeat and extinguish. This is their religion, and therefore this religion starts their journey as a Mason at the beginning, where our Father defeated Nimrod and confounded the languages. And they go through their degrees of conspiring against our Father. And to the masses who are not initiated into their secrets, they introduce this rebellion to us gradually while they lead us to participating in their rebellion, because they are the ones who control religion, control our education, and what we know today. Bringing you back to part 2 of The Matrix. So as you have been living in this world, you have been living amongst people who are completely aligned to Nimrod, and they desire to bring back his dominion and his rule. They are sympathetic to Nimrod, and they are all about completing what was done at Babel. This is the conspiracy in the world, and it goes back to this new world order. Nimrod is the example, and in Bible prophecy, these people sympathetic to Nimrod desire to bring this about. And after Nimrod, these people who our father confused the languages, the different empires that sprang up after, they continued on with the goal of rebellion at Babel. In the history and understanding of what happened at the Tower of Babel, you will find the goals that Satan desires to fulfill. And if you understand those goals and what they try to do, as you analyze this world and all the agendas, you can see these goals today, and you can understand more clearly what they are working towards. It's right in front of your faces. So again, what happened in the times of the Tower of Babel? King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. They aspired to ascend to heaven and to fight YaHuAH. This was the first world government never seen again. And once you understand that, you can understand what the people attached to these secret societies are working towards. These men and women in these secret societies are attached to Satan's goal of rebellion. And as they desire to erect this figurative Tower of Babel in a new world order, this goes back to what was prophesied in the book of Daniel. It's the beast that Daniel saw. In Daniel chapter 7, Daniel's dream was interpreted, and in verses 23 and 24 of the chapter, it explains the fourth beast. It says, "The fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. The 10 horns are 10 kings who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after them. He shall be different from the first ones, and shall subdue 3 kings." This is the major Bible prophecy that explains the coming world government. The fourth beast that is different from all the other kingdoms before it, and it will devour the whole earth. That seems pretty self-explanatory to me. This kingdom that is different than all the other kingdoms before it will devour the earth, the whole earth. Hence, we see a world kingdom. And so we have seen them erect this organization of the United Nations that George Bush himself, the first George Bush, said the New World Order will fulfill the goals of the United Nations founders.
We have a real chance at this New World Order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
The United Nations was built for this goal. There currently is an agenda that is calling for more control and governance by the United Nations. This is what we know to be the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, also known as Agenda 21. We have seen events like the Global Citizens Festival that shows that there's now an international government that the population are now citizens of. I speak about this in many other videos as well. I want you to think about it. They hold this Global Citizens Festival every year. What is a citizen? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a citizen is a member of a state, a native or naturalized person who owes allegiance to a government and is entitled to protection from it. So in order for you to be a citizen of somewhere, there must be a government that you owe allegiance to and are entitled to protection of. So being a global citizen means there must be some form of global government. And this is how subtle they are with telling you what time it is. They are telling you it's here without saying it directly, but our subconscious are being prepared for it. But this is what the fourth beast kingdom will be. It will be a revived Roman Empire, which is why we see the Roman symbol of peace on the United Nations logo, the olive branch. It will be a completion of the undertaking that was started at Babel because it will have one ruler, like King Nimrod. That is why it's the United Nations. It's the United Nations of the world going back to the goal at Babel, conspiring against YaHuAH to come against him. They also will have one main language, which seems to be English, which is why people fight so hard to keep our Messiah's name in the English tongue, not realizing that they're fighting for Babylon. But also they have the technology to transcribe language into your own language. So the technology I think they're going to be using at the Super Bowl is they're going to use that guy, Bad Bunny. He's going to speak in Spanish, but the technology is going to translate it into their own language. This is the new technology today, so they're just going against what YaHuAH did. You have to understand their technology is rebellion. You have to understand what you're looking at and what you're seeing. They are creating technology to say that they can overpower what YaHuAH did. This is a real battle right in front of your faces. Also, the other agenda with this is there will be a one world religion. Understand, these are all themes from what Nimrod started at Babel the first time. But maybe you want to debate and say none of this is true. But you see, understanding current events would reduce a great deal of skepticism from even the greatest of deniers. Let's understand what has transpired over the past decade. The thing about understanding this is that it helps understanding our current world better. You will understand political issues and why they're being raised, why you see certain agendas being pushed locally, statewide, and nationwide. You'll start understanding the agendas on our television programs and how they subtly introduce this world government to us.
That doesn't sound totally terrible.
Diane, you're not buying this.
Ruby, you don't think that women deserve equal pay?
They deserve more.
And I know you wouldn't let a man talk down to you.
Now, you know ain't no man talking down to me.
And you'd fight for a woman to be able to make her own decisions.
With my fist.
Grandma, you're a feminist.
You'll understand the technology that is being created and why they're even creating it. The mistake that we make is looking at the overall goal of world government, and then we say, because we do not see this